Yo, what's up, dogs? I went and saw Madam Web. I saw it like a week after the fact. I wasn't in a hurry to go and see this movie. And unfortunately, because of my work schedule, I have a shift planned, like a night shift on a Tuesday. So I wasn't able to go and see it on the cheap night. So I went and saw it on a Saturday, 6 p.m., IMAX. Unfortunately, I had to pay IMAX money, which I didn't want to. I just wanted to see this in regular definition, cheap night for like $10. You know what I'm saying? Or $9, I think it is here. But no, got my ticket online. At that time, there was like 5 tickets sold. So I got prime seat, right dead center. Get to the arena. I mean, theater. You can tell I've been working at the hockey rinks a little too much. I'm saying arena now. So I get to the theater, have my tea. When I pull up and arrive to the IMAX side of things, there was like 15 people, we'll say, was there about that? Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that there was a turnout to this film. So with that being said, I have my list. It's 3 pages long. I actually had to delete some stuff because there's a lot going on in this film that I wanted to talk about. But this would be like an hour, 2 hour long video, and I know you guys don't want to watch that. So maybe I'll have to do like a live stream someday just so we could talk about Madam Web for like 3 or 4 hours. Just it's such a weird movie, man. I don't know if this movie is going to become one of those films where it's like so bad it's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, will it ever fall into the same category as like Catwoman, maybe The Room? I don't know. Time will tell. But this movie is so bad that it has the potential to be so bad it's good. Like, if there's ever a drinking game that happens from this movie, then we're onto something. I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments. Do you think this will become our future so bad it's good film? It's been a while since we've had one, right? So I got the notes, but let's start with the story. And before we start with the story, here's my spoiler warning. And from this point on, I'm ruining everything. So get ready for it. The story takes place in 1973, Peru. And we are with Constance Webb, played by Kerry, Bishé. And she is pregnant. And she's on this adventure searching for a mysterious spider that is known to be able to grant almost superhuman abilities and the power to heal diseases, right? And that is why she is out there. Because later on in the film, we find out that the daughter that she's pregnant with, which is Cassandra Webb, played by Dakota Johnson, she has some kind of neurological disease. I can't remember what it was called, but she is sick inside the womb. So she's in the Peruvian jungle with this bodyguard type character named Ezekiel Sims, who's played by Tahar Rahim. And he is just there as her bodyguard in this wild jungle. And when she eventually does find the spider, he turns on her and kills the other workers with her, and eventually kills her as well. She shoots her in the chest area and runs off with the spider. Now, after this happens, these spider people appear from the jungle, out of the blue, and rescue her or attempt to rescue her. But they do not chase after Ezekiel Sim, which is, it annoyed me. It annoyed me. These guys, these Peruvian super Spider-Men or Spider Tribe people have crazy abilities, and they could have easily captured Ezekiel and got the spider freed and all that. They could have handled this business. We wouldn't have a movie. But anyways, they try to save her. And in order to try to save her, they let one of their spiders bite her and enter the venom into her system to save her, but it doesn't happen. However, the venom enters Cassie's body, and when the mother dies, Cassandra dies, Constance dies, she gives birth, and here we go. Fast forward to 2003, where Cassandra is an adult, a very unlikable adult. She is a paramedic, and she's grumpy. She doesn't like human beings. She doesn't like children. She has a cat. What else is there about her? She's very awkward in social situations. There's a scene in this movie that is the baby shower scene, which is an interesting scene. It's poorly written, but it's also kind of hilarious at how cringeworthy the scene is. And it just showcases more of this character's unlikability. And honestly, she does come across as like a really jaded bitch at times, for lack of a better word. And you don't really like her. Like, She's supposed to be the hero of this movie, and heroes are supposed to be likable, and she doesn't come across as likable at all. Even at the end, she's still not likable. There's something about her that she has this way of portraying this character that is just so unlikable that you really do not care about her and what happens to her. So we follow her along, and she has her co-worker, which is Ben Parker, who will eventually be the uncle Ben to Peter Parker, and they work together as EMT paramedics, whatever, right? And so they go on this mission to save someone who's crashed their car, and she goes inside there, which none of this would happen in real life, but she goes inside the car, cuts him free, and as he is released from the car, she falls down into the water inside the car and like smacks her head on the windshield and pretty much goes unconscious and drowns. But she is saved. Oh, well, hold on. When she drowns, we actually have an interesting sequence of CGI events going on. Like her powers are releasing the power of like the thread of webs and stuff. It looks nice, actually. I'll be honest with that. The CGI in that section looked pretty cool and kind of interesting. But she gets pulled out of the water by Ben Parker alone. There's a thing in this movie, and it's in the bad. There's a lot of emptiness in this film. Nothing feels alive and full. You know what I'm saying? There are some scenes that are busy and like things are going on, but also at the same time, there's a negative to it of where it just feels empty and lifeless. It's really weird. So Ben brings her back to life. And she is just like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm fine. I'll see you at the baby shower. Like, she just kind of waves it off. Her vitals are fine and all this jazz. But then she starts having these, like, apparitions, these visions, and she's not really sure what's going on. She kind of just is like, she just shrugs it off as, like, deja vu. Like, yeah, whatever. You know, been there, done that. Not a big deal. But as her time goes on, she starts having them more frequently, and she doesn't really understand how to deal with them. But that doesn't really matter because we switch over to Ezekiel Sim. We catch up with him and his drama, right? And I'm telling you, there's just too much story going on sometimes. Or maybe the story is too much because it's not flowing together correctly. So we're with Ezekiel Sims now, and he has the ability of certain spider powers, okay? Because like when the spider bites you, you get certain things. You don't get everything, as it's explained to us later, but you get some things. So he gets like superhuman strength, and he can stick to walls, and he's able to inject a toxin that can kill people as just via touch. And I thought that was actually kind of cool. He seduces this woman who is like a top level CIA agent who has like special clearance to super high tech, like only Bruce Wayne would have this kind of technology. And he seduces her, kills her, steals the technology, and uses it for himself because he has bad dreams about these 3 spider women in the future who will kill him. And so he wants to use this technology to find them before they find him, so to speak. And he wants to kill them before they become something. You know what I'm saying? Like before they become the Spider Women. So that's his mission. And he hires this like side girl who knows how to use this technology. I don't even know how she does. Don't even worry about that. But she has like, he has his own like little oracle that's like helping him out, figuring all the stuff out and like where to find these people and all that jazz. And it's just a weird scene. So I'm trying to remember, and this is the part I don't remember, honestly. Kind of like my brain deleted some of this movie. I don't remember what the catalyst was that brings the like Dakota, or sorry, Cassie Webb and the girls together. But there is a sequence where everyone seems to be on the subway train at the same time. And Ezekiel Sim is after them. He's like, I'm going there. I will get them. I'll kill them all right now. And then this is where Dakota has her first vision of these 3 girls getting destroyed by the spider dude. And she reacts by saying, hey, you guys got to come with me. That's right. That's how this works. That's right. You have to come with me. I have to protect you. Something's going to happen to you. And there's a man coming after you. And they don't believe her at all at first. And so she steals the skateboard off of, I think it's Maddie's, one of the characters. And they're like, oh no, my skateboard, don't steal it. And so they all run off the subway. And Ezekiel sees it and is like, oh, I'll get you, girls. And then like 3 seconds later, this like dude in a black spider suit shows up, kills all these police officers, and the girls are like, hey, this woman's trying to kidnap us and all this. It gets weird. And the rest of the movie is essentially Cassie and the girls try to avoid Ezekiel Sim at all times while trying to figure out how to stop Ezekiel Sims, right? Yeah, that's pretty much the rest of the movie from that point on. And that's all, like, I could keep talking about this story, man. It's a wild, hot mess of a story that actually, like, makes no sense. And they try to sprinkle in, like, little Peter Parker stuff in here. And it's not. The story's not good. It's not good. And, like, now that I just remembered some of it, I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. It's a movie. Let's get to the good, okay? Let's just jump right into it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I took some time to just try and find some good in this movie. But that doesn't mean that these good elements in this film mean you should go and see this movie also in the theater and pay hard-earned dollars. I'm just saying these are some nuggets of some potential ideas that were good, that could have, if they worked on them harder, make this movie a lot better of an experience. But what we got in here, good ideas, nuggets, embers in the fire, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to point them out and highlight them. This movie's still a 1 out of 5, you know what I'm saying? Actually a half out of 5, really. But let's just jump right into it, okay? So the first thing I liked in here is I liked the idea of this character having these clairvoyant / final destination powers where she can see the future events unfold and do something about it, you know, and change the future. However, I don't feel like they utilized it correctly and efficiently and coolly, you know what I'm saying? Because this whole movie should have revolved around the idea of bringing Peter Parker to life. And we could have even went a little bit further, like fool around with like the spiders and stuff like that that are in the lab at the MIT where Parker eventually goes. There's a lot of elements that they could have fooled around with. But even stopping the birth of Peter Parker, kind of like a Terminator situation where we don't want John Connor to be born. This would be like, we don't want Peter Parker to be born. So maybe we're going to go after Ben Parker and, well, not Ben Parker, but like specifically his mother, Mary Parker, right? Because Ben Parker is the uncle. So like going after Mary and maybe the father. We don't even get the father in this, which is, you know, classic. But anyways, there's elements in here that we could have really built a cool story around and kind of went that Terminator 1 route. You know what I'm saying? So the next thing that I liked in here is there is an actual cool scene in this movie where she predicts the future death of her partner. Sorry, not the partner, but I guess he's like the leader of the paramedics, O'Neill, played by Mike Epps. And that little final destination sequence is nice. And it was like, oh, cool. This is an interesting idea. She's seeing the potential future death of her friend here and she could stop it. And the thing that sucks about it is she doesn't stop it. He dies. And you're kind of just sitting there going, well, what kind of hero is this? Like, why did she not stop him? Like, why didn't she do everything in her power to stop him? You know what I'm saying? It was weird, but the scene was cool enough to the point where it's like, oh, here's an example of her powers that was filmed decently and, you know, got you a little interested in what potential is inside Cassie Webb. However, they dropped the ball quite a bit with it. There's one joke in the entire movie, and it's the only joke in the like, I'm telling you, it's the only joke that my audience legit laughed over. And it's where she goes to climb the wall in her apartment to see if she has spider climbing ability, like the Ezekiel Sim character. And when she does it, she doesn't stick to the wall and she slides down the wall and fails, right? And my audience, everyone had a hearty laugh. And you know what? I laughed as well. Best joke in the entire movie. One joke in the whole movie. And the next thing that I liked in this movie, which actually is a surprise. I was surprised that this happened, okay? Every time Cassie Webb has visions of the future of Ezekiel Sim showing up and killing the girls, it actually looks really cool. Like there's a couple scenes where like he literally just like breaks the neck off of one of them and like pile drives her into the ground. Like it's brutal. Not a pile driver, but like you just see like some really gruesome kill shots in this movie, and it kind of was like, oh whoa, there's some weird random violence in this film. And they actually looked good. So I give them some kudos to that it actually looked good. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the final good thing from this whole movie, and let's just be honest. Red carpet, Sydney Sweeney. I'm a man. Goddamn. They all looked great on the red carpet. Whatever. That's the best thing in this whole entire movie was the red carpet. Deal with it. The first thing on the bad, the direction. This movie has nothing. Nothing looks good. Nothing looks thought out. Nothing looks framed out nicely. Nothing. It's just blah. You know what I'm saying? Lifeless. It's not cool. There's no interesting framing. No interesting character movements. There's a lot of just people just, we're here. Let's say our lines. And that's what it is. It's not, like I said earlier, everything just feels dead and lifeless. And just no one feels motivated. You know, like nothing feels motivated in this film. And that is sad. And even the action sequences, while I did say some are good, especially when you see them die, there's a lot of other action sequences in this film that are just absolutely boring. And the final battle is boring. Like it's just second unit who did the action sequences there, boring. You know what I'm saying? The next thing, the dialogue, okay? The people in this movie talk like they've never spoken to humans before in their life. There's no like ad-libbing, there's no gesturing, there's no, it's so robotic and lifeless and emotionless. And yeah, everyone talks like this though. It's not just the main lead, you know, it's really weird. It's really weird. And it's noticeable. And on top of the dialogue too, I just wanted to point out here, there is a lot of ADR voiceover issues. And it's very noticeable, and it kind of takes you out sometimes. And it's mostly probably because of reshoots. They're like, oh, we need to put some better audio here. And it's garbage, and the editing around it makes it even more noticeable. And yeah, not good. Not good for $1 million movie, you know what I'm saying? Next up is the entire story makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Because once you start playing with the ability to manipulate the future, and there's no consequences to this, you throw the rules out the window. This movie has no rules, and you know I like rules. And with no rules comes no responsibility. So Cassie Webb can do whatever she wants to alter the future, and there's no repercussions of it. And we don't even see repercussions when she does start altering things, because the dream that this character has, the villain, is of 3 spider women killing him. Like he gets pushed out of his apartment building and dies, right? But the actual turn of events that does happen is the Pepsi Cola sign falls on him and he gets crushed to death, right? So his future was changed somehow, but we don't see that. And there's no rules based around of how she can change the future to benefit herself. Right? Like it's probably the most annoying thing in this movie is we see a future, she alters the future, but she doesn't even know how she alters the future. She doesn't even think of like, how can she alter the future? You know, how is she in control of the future? There's a lot of questions that come up here and we get no answers, okay? The next thing here is the villain sucks. I don't like him. He's absolutely boring. And he has the potential to be cool because he has a really cool ability where he can inject poison into people. And I thought that was cool. However, he's not cool. He's not sexy. He's not anything. He's boring. He's lifeless. Also, like, I don't care for him. I don't care for this villain. I never once thought he was a threat. I don't know why he's walking around New York City barefoot. Like, what is that? I don't understand why he has this black Spider-Man suit. I don't even know why he's dressed like a Spider-Man. The concept of Spider-Man doesn't even exist in this world. So why would he bring this outfit together? Like, wouldn't he do something different? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. He just sucked. So unbelievable the entire time. And yeah, that kind of, you want a believable villain that you think, oh yeah, he's actually going to be able to be capable to execute his goal, right? Which his goal is to kill these girls, and you don't believe it at all. The other thing that kind of sucks is just Cassie Webb sucks. Like I said earlier, she's so mean and bitchy and grumpy and not a likable person that you just don't really get behind her. Her abilities make no sense. Her powers, like I said, they're all over the place. Even at the very end of the movie, she's somehow able to become an astral projection of herself 3 times and be in 3 different places. And it's like, what? How? Like, we don't even get like a potential training montage. Like, if you think about like classic Spider-Man movies, there's a training montage of him trying to figure out his powers. We don't get that. She just fumbles her way through it all, and it just clicks. It's like, oh, I can do this now, right? And it's really weird. Another thing in this movie that sucks, the police. There's no police presence. Like, okay, there is a police presence because in the subway scene, they get destroyed by Ezekiel Sim. Like, he just kills them all, right? But the police are actively in pursuit of Cassie Webb because to them, they believe that she kidnapped the 3 girls, okay? And there's no police around anywhere. No one's staking out her apartment. No one's at any of the crime scenes, right? There's police nowhere. She is able to go to Peru and come back as a wanted fugitive and never get arrested once in this movie. I know it's 2003. Maybe it was harder to find criminals back then. But whatever. I don't think it would be that hard to be like, hey, if you see this chick show up to the airport, arrest her. Yeah, it's totally buffoonery is what I would like to say. I'd also like to point out that the 3 girls in this movie, let me get their names out here. We have Sydney Sweeney, who plays Julia Cornwall. We have Isabela Merced as Anya Corazon, and Celeste O'Connor as Maddie Franklin. These are the 3 future Spider Girls, and they do not get their powers at all in this movie. We only see their powers during the dream sequence. And here's the thing about these characters too. They are annoying, right? Like, they're 3 teenage girls, so they are annoying. They're doing a good job at that. But there's never once any conversation about these girls getting spider powers that I recall. I do not recall them ever being brought up. Like, I don't think Cassie Webb ever said to them, hey, look, this guy wants to kill you because you're going to kill him with spider powers. I don't remember that. I just remember her being like, we have to protect you from this guy. He wants to kill you. I don't know why. And like, the pursuit of these, like, it's just so dumb. I don't think we needed these girls in here, to be perfectly honest. Like, I get the concept if you're thinking about doing like your own Birds of Prey down the line, and you're like, oh yeah, we'll have our Oracle will be Madam Web, and these 3 Spider Women, they'll be Huntress and Black Canary and I forget the other character's name, but we'll throw Harley Quinn in there, right? That's will be that crew, and then we'll have this whole Oracle group kind of thing going on, you know. And like, sure, maybe that would have been cool. But like, that's like 5 movies, not even 5. That's like 3 movies worth of work, and you're trying to cram that all right now, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And it's whiffed opportunity with these characters, and yeah, it's kind of a shame just to waste them, you know? Because like, you could have built something cool. You really could have. You could have. I think it could have been done. But there's a lot of elements in here, and these Spider Women could have been like the protector of Peter Parker. Like, we could have built something here, and then have the big reveal of who Peter Parker will be in like movie 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could have built something utilizing all these elements. Could have been done. And on the last note of the bad, I didn't really care for all the beating around the bush about Peter Parker. Like, you could just say it. You guys own the rights. Like, you could say Peter Parker. And if you didn't want to do it, Peter Parker, why don't you just fool around and be like, yeah, it's Miles Morales. Like, just go that route. Just zig right to it. You know what I'm saying? We could have done that, and that would have been fine with me. But what they gave us was not cool. And now, let's get on to the silly, okay? And I feel like this review is already 30 minutes too long. Hopefully, I can get it down in the edits for you guys. Fingers crossed. But here we go. First thing first for the silliness is The Peruvian spider people. That whole concept is absurd, and I loved it because like by the time Cassie Webb goes back to the Peruvian jungle to find her origins, it's so bad. They're all gone, and I'm kind of like, did the tribe die off? Like, there's only one dude left, the guy who happened to give her birth. He's alive, and I'm like, where's the rest of the tribe? Did you guys just die off? Did the environment like kill you? Like, what happened here? Please tell me more. What happened? I was very invested, and all the spiders are gone. Like, what's going on here? It was silly. So the next thing I got here is the odd amount of Pepsi product placement throughout this film. And it really harkens back to like Wayne's World, where they do in the whole like Pepsi can thing, and then the Doritos and the pizza and all like the endorsements inside the movie so they could pay for the movie. It's like that level of absurdity. And like even the dude dies by the Pepsi Cola sign at the end, and there's Pepsi everywhere, man. They even like like it's just, I don't know. I don't understand why they had so much Pepsi, but it was a lot. The next thing I got here is there's an odd amount of usage of CPR in this film, and they do it absolutely wrong. Like, I have my first aid certification, which I have to go and renew soon, but you pump. And how I was taught was you pump to the Bee Gees, right? Staying alive, right? And they do that. However, when you do that, you're supposed to blow in the mouth to get the lungs going, to push out that water. Like, there is a reason to all of this, but they never once do the mouth-to-mouth part. And I was sitting there the whole time going, where's the mouth-to-mouth element? So if you're learning about CPR from watching this film, it is incorrectly, and you will most likely lose your loved one because you listened to Madam Webb's CPR training montage. And there is a training montage in this film, and it's also comical too. It's just comical. And here's the last two things, and these are big nitpicks that actually really bothered me the most in this movie, of things that bothered me. The campfire that they have in the forest does not get put out at all, and they just walk away from it, and the fire's still burning. And as a person who goes hiking and camping and likes the outdoors, that is like such a major number one rule thing to do. If you light a fire, you put it out. And I don't care how you put it out, you put it out, and you make sure all those embers are gone and everything is good before you leave the campsite. And they didn't do that. They just left it and went to the diner. And it was annoying, and it took me out of the film for a minute there, and I don't like when that happens. And finally, the last thing, okay? So the character, Maddie Franklin, all the girls have a moment of like sitting there in the forest with the fire, right? And they're talking about their family lives and all that stuff. And like, oh, woe is me. I don't have a dad. I don't have a mom. They don't love me. Stuff like that, right? And Maddie is like, yeah, well, like my dad, he's super rich, but like all his company does is contribute to the giant plastic island out in the Pacific Ocean, right? It's just angsty about it, And then you know what she does? She has like some kind of treat, like a treat with a wrapper, and she's eating it. And you know what she does with this wrapper? She just throws it on the ground and walks away from it. And everyone leaves the scene. And I'm sitting there going, hold on a second. You just got angry at your father for contributing to pollution of the ocean, and you nonchalantly take your wrapper and throw it to the ground and litter and leave. And you want to take a higher ground than your... I was frustrated. This movie, I swear. Guys, I'm probably scraping the top of the barrel of all the bad that I didn't even get to write and talk about in here. Like I said, I could have talked about this movie for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. There's so much crazy stuff going on in this film. Now, the question is, should you watch this film? I will tell you, honestly, if you want to go see a dumpster fire of a movie, something that has the potential of being so bad it's good, then cheap night, 100%, sure. And bring your friends so you can all laugh and have a good time and enjoy this. And then, you know what? Go hit a diner afterwards and just talk about this movie so you guys can have a good laugh. Because it's a good shared experience in that regards, where you guys and all laugh at how bad this dumpster fire is, okay? That's the only way I'd recommend you to go and pay and see this film. However, if you want to save money, You know it's going to be on Netflix in a couple months. Stream it with the boys. Laugh. Have beers at home. Just wait. You know what I'm saying? Just wait. Watch my review a couple times. Laugh with me. Now, the other question is, will this ever be in my movie collection? 100% no, I will not be actively buying this movie. However, if I buy a Facebook bundle on the marketplace, right, and it's in there, it's in there. That's the only way it's going to accidentally get added to my collection. I will never buy a 4K super edition, 30th you know what I'm saying, 30th anniversary edition. It ain't happening, period. But if I accidentally get one in the marketplace, fine. It's the only way it's happening. Anyways, on that note, that is the end of my review. And guys, the next thing I'm going to be watching is the Bob Marley movie and then Dune 2. So, on that note, whatever movie you guys are watching, I hope you're loving them and digging them. Peace out, everyone. Bye.